The story begins with female lead, Jushia, waking up and realizing she's naked. She sees the handsome but cold-hearted male lead, Thang, next to her. Jushia remembers that her best friend made her drink a lot last night and booked a hotel room for her, so she can spend a night with her boyfriend, because they've been dating for years but nothing has happened between them. But because she was so drunk, she ended up in Thang's room, which led to a one-night stand. Thang throws a check for 5 million at her and says, "Pretend nothing happened and never show your face again." Jushia replies, "I don't want the money," and keeps calling her boyfriend, but his phone is off. She starts crying because this was her first time, and it turned out so badly. Thang touches the love bite on his neck and remembers how passionate Jushia was last night. He says, "I don't think it was your first time, but you must have really worked hard to get my attention." Thang gives her another check and leaves. She shouts, "I don't want your money!" In a different scene, we see Jushia's boyfriend, Jae Kai. He's been out of work for 10 days. He gets a call from his company saying, "If you don't return to work in a week, you'll be fired." Then he gets a message from someone saying, "If you don't pay back the money in a week, we won't forgive you." Meanwhile, Jushia goes back to Thang and gives him the check. She says, "I have nothing to do with you, and I don't need your money." Thang replies, "So you just wanted my body." Jushia says, "You're just a rich guy with no character." Just then, the elevator door opens. It's Alex, a world-famous jewelry designer who's Thang's most important business partner. Alex sees the love bites and asks, "Is she your girlfriend?" Jushia is about to say no, but she doesn't even know him. Thang kisses her and says, "Just go along with it. He's very famous. Do you want to tell him about our one-night stand?" Jushia stays quiet. Then Thang tells him, "She's not only my girlfriend, but my fiancé." Next, Jushia gets a call from her mother and goes straight home. As soon as she gets there, her grandmother starts yelling at her. Then her father shows her a news story about the CEO of Thang's company being seen with a mysterious woman. He says, "Leave home because you haven't even paid back your loans, and now you're hanging around a rich man even though you have a boyfriend." Jushia says, "It's just a misunderstanding," but her father won't listen. She gets angry and leaves. At the same time, Jae Kai calls Jushia and says, "I borrowed $1 million from someone, and if I don't pay it back within a week, they'll break my leg." Jushia says, "That's why they came to our house for money." He says, "Don't worry, we'll find a way together." Jae Kai tells her, "Try to get that money in a week and send it to my account." She thinks about how she'll get so much money so quickly. Then, she gets a call from a company saying, "You have passed the interview for an assistant position and can start working." Meanwhile, Thang is in a meeting. They're discussing how the company's stock is falling because of rumors about Thang's affair with a mysterious woman. Their partner, Mr. Alex, doesn't seem interested in working anymore. Thang says, "I've had enough. If I don't turn the company around in a month, I'll resign from my CEO position." He tells his manager, "Find that girl and bring her to me." Later, we see Jushia working at the same company. She's carrying a lot of files and bumps into Thang. They're both surprised to see each other. Thang catches her and takes her to his office. His manager calls his grandmother and tells her, Thang's girlfriend has been found, but it doesn't look like she's his girlfriend. Hearing this, Thang's grandmother rushes to the office. Jushia asks Thang, "What are you doing at the company?" And Thang says, "I should be asking you that question." She says, "I know you're following me." Thang replies, "You seem so confident." Jushia realizes he's the CEO of the company. He tells her, "Leave the city, not just my company." She refuses to quit her job. He says, "Either leave this company on your own, or I'll find thousands of ways to make you leave. I don't want any more rumors because of you." After this, Jushia goes to the bathroom and lets out her anger. Meanwhile, Thang's grandmother arrives at the company and goes to Thang's office, where she suddenly starts feeling anxious. Jushia is walking by and helps her. Thang's grandmother asks, "What's your name? I'll give you a reward from my grandson for helping me." Jushia says, "I don't need any reward. You're fine. That's enough. I'm quitting my job soon anyway." The next day, Thang's grandmother tells him, "Why you didn't tell me my daughter-in-law works at this company?" Thang says, "Stop calling her daughter-in-law. There's nothing between us." His grandmother says, "No man in our family has ever had a one-night stand, and you did? I was worried that you wouldn't be interested in any girl. But now that you have a girlfriend, marry her soon to save the company and make your life stable." Thang says, "You've been watching too many dramas lately." His grandmother replies, "This is my order. Bring my daughter-in-law to meet me tonight." Thang is worried. He calls Jushia to his office. She comes with her resignation letter, but he says, "Because of you, my company's in a tough spot. That's why I want you to help me out. We can announce our marriage just for 6 months. Then I'll give you $2 million in cash and let you go." Ju Xia doesn't accept his proposal because she already has a boyfriend. Thang tells her, if you don't agree, I'll ruin your life. So Ju Xia is forced to agree to his terms. She signs Thang's contract, but only on the condition that this fake relationship will only last for 3 months. Thang then tells her, now that you've signed the contract, you need to come to my house tonight. Ju Xia says, this isn't some hidden plan of yours, is it? Thang replies, I'm not interested in you at all. In the next scene, Ju Xia's supervisor is planning a party for the team. Ju Xia says, I can't go. The supervisor says, you're a new employee, so this attitude isn't good. Then Thang walks in and says, she's having dinner with me tonight. He takes Ju Xia to his office. Ju Xia says, we haven't even made our relationship public yet, and you're doing this in front of everyone? Thang gives her a dress and tells her to change. She says, this dress seems a little small. Thang replies, even though I was drunk last night, I still remember your figure. Ju Xia is embarrassed and goes to change. Later, Thang takes Ju Xia to meet his grandmother. Both are happy, but Thang doesn't seem happy. His grandmother asks Ju Xia, does he bother you, or does he make you work too hard? Ju Xia replies, no, he doesn't make me work. I just carry files up and down stairs all day. I'm in charge of their water and food. Hearing this, grandmother says to him, you make my daughter-in-law do all this work? From now on, you have to give her a back massage. Thang says, I'm your grandson. Please believe me. But she doesn't. Thang says, okay, you're going on a world tour, so I'll take care of her until you come back. Then grandmother tells Ju Xia, move your things here tonight and start living with him. Both are shocked. She sits them down and says to Ju Xia, you should keep men under control, otherwise they'll get bad ideas quickly. Thang says, what are you talking about? His grandmother says, you two are a perfect match, so plan a baby by now. My grandson is a little stubborn, so I want you to settle him. Thang says, how can you insult your own grandson? Just then, the servant says, madam, it's time for you to leave. His grandmother says, I'm leaving now, but why are you two so far apart? They both cling to each other. After his grandmother leaves, they start arguing. The next day, his grandmother sets up a facial recognition system for them and tells them they have to report there every night. Then she tells them to go to their bedroom, where they find a bed decorated with flowers and candles. Ju Xia asks, does your grandmother treat all your girlfriends like this? He says, this is because I've never brought a girl home before. Ju Xia says, how can such a handsome CEO stay single for so long? Thang replies, my grandmother keeps watching nonsense drama. Ju Xia picks up a dress on the bed and says, wow, your grandmother's taste is really good, but it's very short. Thang tells her not to wear it. She teases him by saying, are you shy? Thang says, we're both adults, and we have to spend the night together, so control your words and actions. She says, okay, but where will we sleep? Thang says, I'll sleep on the bed, and you can sleep on the floor. She responds, I can't sleep on the floor, but he doesn't listen. When he goes to wash up, Ju Xia sees the comfortable bed and lies down on it. She asks Thang, your grandmother has given you an important task. Are you planning to adopt a child from an orphanage? Or will you find another girl? Thang is annoyed by her questions. He gets under the blanket and says, why do I need to find another girl when I already have a girl? Ju Xia says, I'm not that smart. My children definitely won't be smart, so please leave me. Thang says, okay, I'll leave you, and throws her off the bed. In the next scene, Thang is on a video call for a meeting at home. In background, she says, I can't find my towel. After a while, Ju Xia comes out and starts exercising. Seeing this, Thang ends the meeting and asks her, act like a daughter-in-law. She says, how can I act like a daughter-in-law? I have to sleep on the floor and eat grass. I don't have that much energy to act. Thang calls his manager and asks him if everything is ready for the engagement. In the next scene, Ju Xia's friend learns through the news that Thang and Ju Xia are going to be engaged. Meanwhile, we see Jay Kai gambling. Just then, Ju Xia's friend calls him and says, you keep gambling while your girlfriend is getting married to another guy. If you needs money, I have a plan. Later, we see them at the engagement party. When Thang gives her the ring, she says, I thought you would give me a big diamond ring. Thang says, why not? I'll fill it with diamonds after we get married. They exchange rings and kiss. She says, you're a really good actor. In the next scene, Ju Xia's friend says, Thang is my boyfriend, so leave Thang, and besides, you're still with Jay Kai. But at that moment, Thang comes in and shows a video. He says, I want an explanation for this video, Miss Xiao Tang. Her friend is shocked. In a flashback, we see that Thang makes a new deal with Alex that night. Ju Xia's friend secretly puts something in Thang's drink. She did this because she wanted to spend the night with him, but she gets an invitation to a fashion show, a very important event for her. So she sends Jushia to Thang's room. Jushia says, "How can you do this to me despite being my friend?" Her friend says, "Because I like Thang. That day, everything was going according to my plan, but then I got a big offer I couldn't miss. But Thang had already drunk, and I didn't want him to get intimate with anyone else. That's why I sent you to his room, because I knew you wouldn't fight with me." After hearing all this, Thang fires her from his company. Now all the misunderstandings between Jushia and Thang are cleared. They both apologize to each other, and Jushia says, "Now that everything is clear, we should be friends." Now Jae-kai is also here. So Ju tries to go to him to explain everything, but Thang stops her and says, "Just listen first what they are talking about." Meanwhile, Xiao Tung tells Jae-kai, "You missed a chance to make money." Jae-kai says, "I got a bigger opportunity. I'm going to break up with Jushia and Thang will pay me a lot of money. That's why I chooses Thang's offer instead of you." Xiao Tung tells Jae-kai, "What if he won't give you money?" Jae-kai says, "Jushia is another target and she'll do anything I ask." After hearing everything, Jushia goes to Jae-kai and slaps him. She tells him, "You used me for money. I worked hard to pay your debts, but you didn't care." Jae-kai says, "You're enjoying your life because of me. If I cause trouble, Thang won't accept you." Jushia starts crying. Thang tells Jushia to leave. Jae-kai then says, "Give me the breakup payment." Thang shows him a document where he's listed as the guarantor for Jae-kai's gambling debt and loan and says, "I'll send the original copy to your company. I can also send you to jail." Jae-kai realizes fighting with such a rich guy is useless and leaves. Thang sees Jushia listening to their conversation and asks her for dinner, but she says, "I need to drink first." The next day, Jushia brings a lot of food and drinks from street vendors. Thang says, "You're easily satisfied," and eats the chicken she brought. Jushia says, "You shouldn't be eat my leftover food." Thang says, "I saw that your lips didn't touch it." Then, Jushia gets drunk and starts yelling at Jae-kai and her friend and says, "Why did you do this?" Thang tells her, "It's because you're too innocent." Jushia angrily stares at him and pins him down. She says, "I was stupid to love Jae-kai, and I'm glad he wasn't there that night because I would have been even more hurt." After, she falls on him and he gets attracted to her. He touches her lips, but she puts his finger in her mouth and won't let go. He asks, "Why are you behaving like a dog?" He picks her up and has to complete a task because his grandmother set up face recognition. In the next scene, Thang thinks about Jushia. When he comes after freshen up, he attracts to her innocent face. Then Jushia feels like vomiting. When she gets up, she sees his underwear, which had an elephant print on it. So she starts shouting, "Elephant!" Then she pins him to the bed and kisses him. Thang also lost his control, but then thinks she's still drunk. It's not good to take advantage of her. The next morning, Thang added a condition to their contract that she won't drink until it's over. Jushia apologizes for fighting with him because of the drink and promises, "I won't drink anymore." She signs the contract and says, "I'll focus on my career." She thanks him for yesterday and says, "You might be rude, but you have a good heart." Thang tells her, "Get ready if you want to come to the office with me." The next day, everyone in the office welcomes Jushia respectfully. A coworker asks, "Do you need to come to work since you were engaged yesterday?" Jushia says, "It's okay." She notices that nobody wants to give her work. Since she's now officially the CEO's fiancé, she asks her supervisor for work. The supervisor finds an easy task for her. Her senior then says, "The marketing department needs staff. Does anyone want to work there?" No one is interested except for Jushia, so the senior gives her the task. A colleague tells her, "Ask for help if you need it." However, that colleague also gossips about her, saying, "She's the CEO's wife, but still wants to work. I don't know what she's trying to prove." Another colleague says, "She's just trying to please her fiancé and gain attention." Other girl says, "What can a simple girl like Jushia do other than attract men?" Jushia is listening from the bathroom and says, "I have to prove myself because I am talented." Then she starts working hard both at the office and at home. Thang notices her constantly working and gets worried because she's so focused on her work that she forgets to take care of herself. He ends up taking care of her. The next day, Jushia sends Thang a message saying, "I have too much work and won't be able to go home." Thang falls asleep while waiting for her. In the morning, he sees her message and says, "That's enough." After working all night, Jushia goes to the bathroom. Meanwhile, we see Thang's manager coming back to her desk. Later, Jushia's supervisor asks her, "Did you prepare the documents?" She says, I did and will send them right away, but she can't find the files on her laptop. The supervisor tells her, don't worry, it wasn't important for you to complete the task perfectly. Jushia insists, I already prepared the documents, but she suddenly feels dizzy and is about to faint. Thang catches her and tells his employee, call a doctor. The doctor checks Jushia and says, there's nothing serious, just low blood pressure caused by lack of sleep. He gives her some medicine. Thang sits next to her, and when she opens her eyes, she asks, why am I sleeping here? Thang says, it's not okay to sleep at work. She says, I'm new and inexperienced. That's why I was working hard to finish tasks. She mentions, I had prepared the documents. Thang tells her, check your laptop. When she checks, all her files are back. Thang tells her, lock your screen every time you leave. Jushia teases him, and he says, you'll be transferred to the CEO's office as my personal assistant manager with double your annual salary. She asks, what happened to your previous manager? Thang says, I fired her because she was the one who deleted your files. Jushia asks, why? And Thang tells her, be careful and keep an eye on others. We see everyone in a meeting. After the meeting, Jushia realizes she left her notebook behind. A girl comes to Thang and says, I'm a new intern from the marketing department and have a report for you. She gets close to Thang, but Jushia arrives just then. He gestures to Jushia to get rid of that girl. Jushia goes to Thang and says, honey, you promised to have lunch with me. She then tells the girl, new interns need to report to their supervisor first. You shouldn't discuss things directly with the president. The girl leaves. Thang tells Jushia, you're a good actress. Jushia pins him down in his chair and asks, is acting in a romantic drama with my boss part of my job? Thang says yes. She says, I'll be paid separately for this. He agrees to pay her more as long as she keeps giving her service. Jushia says, I'm not selling my body for money. Thang says, what if I double the price? Jushia asks her senior to clarify some doubts about the meeting. The senior agrees to explain. Thang comes over and asks, did you completed your own tasks? The senior leaves. Thang says, I was in the meeting too, and you could have asked me. Jushia says, are you jealous? They start arguing. Thang says, according to our contract, you can't be close to any other guy or you'll lose your money. She says, I'll only look at you from now on and do what you say. Thang asks her, do you have any meetings today? She tells him, you need to meet Mr. Mu, the CEO of the Mu Group. We see Thang meeting Mr. Mu with Jushia. Mr. Mu looks at Jushia and thinks, how is it possible that someone looks so similar? After the business meeting, Jushia walks Mr. Mu out. Mr. Mu asks, have you ever been to Yunshin? She says, no. He says, I'm just asking because I feel I have a strong relationship with you. Then he thinks, what am I thinking? How is this possible? Later, Jushia gives Thang his schedule for the day. She says, you have an interview with Jiang Jisi in the evening. Then you'll officially announce the partnership with her. Thang agrees. Jushia says, I already chose a dress for you and you'll look good in it. She fixes his tie and looks at him. Thang says, I think you're perfect as my personal assistant. She's surprised and says, you rarely praises me. He says, you don't need to be proud. Jushia gets very close to Thang and he's unable to speak or do anything. Mr. Mu asks his assistant, can you bring me some pastries? The assistant mentions, Madame Ruyu liked those pastries. Mr. Mu says, I want to see if the Jushia likes them too. Thang and Jushia arrive at the same time. They discuss business matters. Thang feels jealous while Mr. Mu and Jushia talk. He reminds Mr. Mu, Jushia is my fiancé. Jushia tries a piece of the pastry. When they leave, Mr. Mu asks her, how did you like the pastries? She praises them. Thang gets jealous and says, she likes durian cake. Jushia tells him to be quiet. Mr. Mu says, I knew you would like the pastries and that's why I kept them for you. Jushia then fresh her mouth and Thang asks, what's wrong? She says, I had to say I liked them for business, but I don't like them at all. Thang thinks to himself, this girl is amazing. Now, we see Jiang Jisi's photo shoot. Jushia comments, how beautiful she is. She asks Thang, do you think I'm beautiful? He says, yes, but when you are not talking. He then asks, do I look handsome to you? She says, you do when you give me my salary. Thang transfers money into her account. She's happy to see it, but then she checks and sees he only transferred 1 yuan. Then a staff member tells Thang, the interview is about to start. During the interview, a staff member brings coffee. Jiang Jisi asks, can I get a cup of tea without milk for Thang? Thang wonders, how does she know what I like? He gestures to Jushia to come over and take his phone, but she doesn't understand. Jiang Jisi takes out a tissue paper and tells her, put your phone on this. Thang is surprised again, wondering, how does she know about my habits? After the interview, reporters take photos of both of them. Ju Xia asks Jiang Jisi, "Can we take a selfie?" Jiang Jisi agrees. Jiang Jisi then asks for a picture with Thang, but he is not interested in it, so he takes Ju Xia with them. Then Thang asks Jiang Jisi, "Have we met before?" She says, "Maybe in our previous life." Thang says, "You're joking." Later, he tells Ju Xia, "I've never met Jiang Jisi before but feel a connection with her." He mentions, "I don't like keeping personal things in public," and she knows about it. Is this a coincidence? Ju Xia agrees, saying, "I've spent 24 hours with you and never noticed this habit." She teases him, asking, "Do you like Jiang Jisi?" He says, "Are you jealous?" Meanwhile, Jiang Jisi posts a picture of her and Thang on social media. Her fans comment, "How perfect they are. They're made for each other." There are lots of positive comments, and she's happy. She then sees a picture of Thang with another girl. Ju Xia goes to Mr. Mu's company for business. While waiting, she checks her phone and sees that all the comments are negative about her. They criticize her, saying, "You think you're worthy of a rich CEO like Thang. You're not as beautiful as Jiang Jisi." Ju Xia gets upset. Just then, Mr. Mu arrives. Seeing her sad face, he says, "You must love Thang a lot." Ju Xia thinks to herself, "Have I started to like him?" Mr. Mu tries to comfort her, saying, "We're friends, you can share any problems with me." Ju Xia feels better after talking to him. After Ju Xia leaves, Mr. Mu looks at his wallpaper and thinks, "Ru Yu sent Ju Xia to me so she can stay with me." Thang tells Ju Xia, "You worked hard and will get double the bonus at the end of the year." Despite this, Ju Xia leaves silently. Thang thinks this is the first time she hasn't been happy about money. Meanwhile, Ju Xia wonders, "Have I started to like Thang?" Then Jiang Jisi sends a message to her, "Can we meet?" When they meet, she apologizes. "I'm sorry for the hateful comments about you on my post." Ju Xia says, "I can't blame you for it. The comments don't make sense or bother me." Jiang Jisi asks, "Is everything okay between you and Thang?" Ju Xia says, "He's busy with his recent sales, and I haven't had a chance to talk to him." Jiang Jisi says, "It means you must be worried and insecure." She then tries to gain Ju Xia's trust, saying, "I would be a good love advisor." She advises, "Give Thang a glass of warm milk when he's tired." She knows that Thang is lactose intolerant, but she still suggests the milk. Thang is finally free from work and sees the negative comments. He doesn't like them. He tells his PR and legal team, handle the situation. Just then, Ju Xia comes in with some pastries for him. Thang says, "You ignored me all day and are now smiling." She says, "I was disturbed by a small matter, but I'm okay now." Thang goes to her and says, "It's not a big deal to deal with negative comments. You should have told me." Suddenly, he feels pain in his stomach. He asks her, "What did you put in the pastries? Are you trying to kill me?" Ju Xia says, "I bought them from the market and they're milk flavored." Thang says, "I'm lactose intolerant." Ju Xia feels bad and keeps saying, "Sorry." Thang is annoyed and tells her, "Leave." She then texts Jiang Jisi, "I made Thang sick." Jiang Jisi is happy to hear this. The next morning, Jiang Jisi comes to his office and brings him hot soup, saying, "You might be sick." Thang tells her, "I'm fine and don't need anything." Just then, Ju Xia arrives with porridge for Thang, but sees them together. C feels upset and leaves. Jiang Jisi tells him, "I doubt she made that herself." Thang says, "I think she made it especially for me." Jiang Jisi starts talking badly about Ju Xia, saying, "She is cute but not suitable for your family." Thang ignores her and says, "I have to have lunch with my fiancé." Jiang Jisi sees a water bottle in Thang's office. She remembers a time when young Thang stood up to some bullies who were picking on another student because the student liked pink. Thang gave that boy a pink water bottle. Jiang Jisi have same bottle now. Meanwhile, Ju Xia is angry and takes it out on the porridge she made for Thang. Thang comes over and tries the porridge. Ju Xia asks him, "Why do you have to have lunch with your staff after eating her soup?" Thang says, "I didn't drink the soup. By the way, did you make this porridge for me?" Ju Xia says, "No, I didn't." She tells him, "Wash the bowl." We see Thang washing the bowl, and a staff member asks him, "Why are you doing it yourself?" Thang explains, "In my family, the person who cooks doesn't wash the dishes." The next day, Jiang Jisi calls Ju Xia and tells her, "I went to your company today to meet you, but you were busy. So I decided to meet Thang instead." Ju Xia thinks to herself, "She came to meet me. I shouldn't have doubted her." Then, Jiang Jisi asks about their relationship. She replies, "I feels embarrassed to convince my feelings." Jiang Jisi tells her, "Okay, let's try plan B. Maybe you could try to be more clingy so he notices you." Then, we see a flashback of Thang telling that boy, "I hate clingy girls." The boy replies, "My sister is exactly your type." Jiang Jisi sees a picture of Thang and that boy. She says, "Brother, if anyone can be with Thang, it's only me." Meanwhile, Zhu Xia is trying to be more clingy with Thang, but he is annoyed. She wonders if she should just ask him directly if he likes her. Thang comes over and asks, "Are you hiding something from me?" She thinks to herself, "I hope he doesn't know he is my crush now." Thang asks her, "Do you want another promotion or a salary raise?" She says, "Wow, you're so straightforward." At that moment, a crystal product belonging to Thang falls and breaks. She apologizes, but he gets angry and asks her to leave. After that, she calls Jiang Jisi and tells her, "Thang got angry again because I broke something important to him." Jiang Jisi tells her, "Don't worry, just say sorry later." The next day, Jiang Jisi sends Thang a picture of a necklace and says, "Thanks for fixing this. It doesn't look broken at all." Then says, "Oh, sorry, I accidentally sent this to you." He then asks her for the craftsman's contact information. She wants to impress Thang by doing this. Meanwhile, Zhu Xia searches the same type of crystal online. When Thang comes over, she pretends to sleep. Sees her sleeping, he doesn't bother her. The next day, Zhu Xia wonders if she should apologize. Thang thinks, "She has been ignoring me. At least she should give me a chance to say sorry." He is about to talk to her when Jiang Jisi calls him and tells him, "The crystal is fixed. It would be nice if you invited me for lunch." Thang says, "Okay." Then, Zhu Xia comes to Thang's office to sign some documents. He signs them and tells her, "Jiang Jisi is coming for lunch, so you have to order some good dishes." She nods coldly and leaves. The next day, we see Zhu Xia and Jiang Jisi talking in Thang's house. Thang asks them, "When did you both become so close?" Jiang Jisi says, "It's our secret." She then asks Thang, "Did Zhu Xia cook this?" Thang says, "My assistant works very hard. I don't want to give her extra work." Jiang Jisi gives Thang the crystal and tells Zhu Xia, "You said this was a useless thing. Do you even know this is a family gift?" Zhu Xia says, "When did I say that?" Thang asks her, "How do you know this is my family gift?" She says, "You told me about this. Did you forget?" Zhu Xia then tells Thang, "This is a gift from your relative. Why do I have to learn about you from others? Sorry, I'm so careless," and leaves. Jiang Jisi tells Thang, "Zhu Xia is a good girl, but she is also very careless. She might not be perfect for your family." Thang agrees and says, "She is careless because she trusts people easily." Meanwhile, Zhu Xia is crying, thinking about how foolish she was to trust Jiang Jisi as a friend. Thang comes to her and apologizes, saying, "Sorry, I never told you about the gift." Zhu Xia says, "You also never told me about your relationship with Jiang Jisi." Thang says, "When did I have an affair with her? Are you jealous?" Zhu Xia says, "No, we should actually know more about each other so that we can act well." He picks her up in his arms and says, "Yes, we need to know more about each other." Later, Thang tells Zhu Xia his backstory. He says, "My grandfather had a puppy, but it died in an accident after my grandfather passed away. My grandma then gave me the crystal puppy as a gift." Zhu Xia sees a picture in Thang's album that's the same one Jiang Jisi had. She asks, "Who's the guy in the picture?" Thang says, "It's my school friend, Jiang Lai. He was always bullied and I used to protect him. Now it's your turn to tell me about yourself." She says, "I'm from a normal family. I was seriously ill when I was a child, and it cost a lot for my treatment. That's why my grandparents didn't like me. They wanted me to get married, but my mother was always there for me. She worked hard to pay for my college fees. Then you came into my life, and I learned about my boyfriend and best friend's double standards." Thang thinks to himself, "I'll never let you get hurt again." The next day, we see Zhu Xia at Mr. Mu's company. After their business conversation, Mr. Mu offers her dinner. Thang is at home thinking, "I came home from the company, but she hasn't come yet." Meanwhile, Zhu Xia and Mr. Mu are having dinner. Mr. Mu tells her, "You look similar to a friend of mine." Zhu Xia blurts out, "Was she your first love?" Mr. Mu doesn't answer and tells her, "Try the cherry." She says, "I am allergic to cherries." He is shocked to hear this. She gets a call from Thang. She tells him, "I am having dinner with Mr. Mu." Thang gets angry and says, "It's my birthday today. You should be with me." Zhu Xia says, "Don't be jealous. I'm coming home now." She leaves quickly. Mr. Mu thinks to himself, "Same person, cherry allergy. What is the connection between Zhu Xia and Ru Yu?" Thang is furious to see Zhu Xia back home. He asks her, "A boy and a girl having dinner at midnight. What does it mean?" Zhu Xia says, "It's only 9 p.m., and it's not even your birthday." He sees her that today is his birthday. Then she says, "Okay, I'll make something special for you." But seeing her nonsense actions, he decides to make dinner himself. She says, "I will do something special for you tomorrow." The next day, Thang sees that Zhu Xia has prepared breakfast and clothes for him. She tells him, "I will give you my special service for the next 24 hours. Thang says, "Then you should dress me up." Thang starts taking off his clothes. She stops him and says, don't change your clothes in front of me. Later, she ties his tie. He asks, where did you learn to do this? She asks him, are you jealous? You blush easily. She gives him his pants. He remembers the elephant printed underwear and starts laughing. She tells him, I haven't seen your elephant underwear yet. Thang feels embarrassed and thinks, I should stop wearing elephant underwear. Later, they are waiting for the lift, and the other employees are gossiping about how handsome Thang looks today. Jushia says, look, my taste is so good. She hears the other employees gossiping about Thang and Jiang Jisi. Thang says to Jushia, to shut everyone's mouth, I need to put on a show in public. Jushia starts acting very lovingly in front of the other employees. This made uncomfortable the girls. However, Thang seems to enjoy it. He then tells Jushia, your service is not over yet. Give me a massage and rub my head. She says, if I do this, when will I work? She then says, I'll treat you well tonight. Thang finally lets her go. The next day, Jushia's mother calls her and tells her, your father is forcing me get money. Thang tells her, don't worry, and calls his lawyer. Meanwhile, Jushia's parents are fighting. Her mother tells her father, you are wasting all your money on another woman, and now you want money from your daughter. You have no shame. Their fight is going on when Thang arrives with his lawyer. Jushia's father tries to defend himself, saying, I have no connection with that woman. Thang then shows him evidence and photos and says, this is your hotel booking record for this month with that woman. Jushia's mother asks him for a divorce, but Jushia's grandmother tells him, don't do that, otherwise she will not give us money. Then her father apologizes to her mother. Thang says to Mom, we will respect your decision. Her mother says, I want a divorce. Her husband refuses to give her a divorce. Their lawyer says, with this evidence, my client can get a divorce. Thang takes Jushia's mother with him. Before leaving, she slaps her husband. He takes her home and says, sleep in the same room so that you can talk to each other. But her mother says, you two are engaged, so how can you sleep apart? I will sleep in the guest room. Thang says, we spend the whole day together so we can sleep separately. Jushia's mother is happy. Jushia says to Thang, my luggage still on floor, remove them quickly. Shia's mother thanks Thang for helping her. Jushia thinks I can't stop me to like Thang more and more. She texts Thang saying, thank you for today. She then apologizes to her mother saying, sorry I couldn't take you out of that house earlier. I made you go through so much. Her mother says, don't worry, you are a good daughter. Now I'm going to find a good job and start a new life. She then asks, when are you going to marry Thang? I'm scared that this incident will affect your relationship. Jushia tells her, don't worry. Thang doesn't care about these things and is a good person. We haven't discussed the marriage because Thang is too busy. She is sad to herself because their engagement was fake. Meanwhile, we see Jiang Jisi with the girl who is having an affair with Jushia's father. We learn that Jiang Jisi paid the girl to ruin Jushia's family reputation in Thang's eyes. The girl tells Jiang Jisi about a secret about Jushia. Thang decides to open a dry cleaner shop for Jushia's mother, but she refuses his help. She says, our families are too different, so it can affect your relationship. Thang convinces her. She then asks Jushia to find an apartment. Thang tells her, why do you need to rent? You can stay with us. Her mother says, you already helps me a lot. Jushia tells him, it's okay. I will find a nice apartment for her. Jiang Jisi calls Thang and asks to talk. Thang tells her, talk to my supervisor if it's work-related. She says, I have something to tell you about Jushia. If you want to know, you have to come to me. Thang thinks to himself, what could it be? Jiang Jisi then sends him a location and asks him to meet her there. Jushia is waiting for him so they can move her mom to a new apartment, but Thang goes to meet Jiang Jisi. Everything is going according to Jiang Jisi's plan. When Thang opens the car door for her, Jiang Jisi intentionally falls toward him. A photographer captures the scene. Jiang Jisi then tells Thang, Jushia's parents are not her biological parents. That's why they don't like her. Thang says, I knew that. Jiang Jisi says, you are going to marry a girl whose family background is so complicated. Are you not afraid? What if her real parents come and demand money from you? Thang says, if that happens, I'll respect their decision and will compensate her parents. Jiang Jisi says, it's heart-touching that a famous CEO like you is in love with someone like her. Thang tells her, there is no point in talking to you. You can go now. Jiang Jisi says, it's my birthday. Celebrate it with me. Thang refuses, but Jiang Jisi threatens to tell Jushia everything. Thang finally agrees to celebrate her birthday. Meanwhile, Jushia sees an article about Thang and Jiang Jisi. The article shows the photo that Jiang Jisi made sure the photographer captured. The article mentions that Thang and Jiang Jisi are in a relationship and were seen together at a hotel. Jushia cries after reading the article. She calls Thang, but he doesn't answer because his phone is on silent. She thinks to herself, He went to celebrate Jiang Jisi's birthday instead of work. One of Thang's employees calls him and tells him that his picture with Jiang Jisi is going viral. They are saying that you are in a relationship and cheated on your fiancé. Thang tells his team, control the news. He thinks to himself, why am I so worried? I think I'm falling for Zhu Xia. Zhu Xia is very sad after reading negative comments about her on social media. She thinks, it's good he doesn't know I have a crush on him. Otherwise, I would have felt embarrassed. When she sees Thang, she pretends to sleep, but he understands that she is pretending. He wakes her up and says, do you care that I'm on the hot news? She asks, what can I do? You are going to have an affair with her, and I'll have to cover for you. They argue. Zhu Xia tells Thang, I'm sorry that your secret lover had to wait because of this contract. I would have finished this contract if I could. She takes her luggage and leaves the house. Thang thinks to himself, what do boyfriends usually do when their girlfriends are angry? Is this the end of our relationship? But let's just cool down first. Zhu Xia goes to a hotel to stay there. She meets Mr. Mu, who is there for a meeting. Mr. Mu notices her luggage and understands that she has had a fight with Thang. He tells her, if you want, we can have a drink. You'll feel better. Later, they drink together. Mr. Mu says, you should not drink too much when you are in the same room with another man, because no one can be trusted. Zhu Xia tells him, you are not that kind of person. I trust you. Rich guys like you like beautiful girls like Jiang Jisi. What will you do with ordinary girls like me? Mr. Mu says, you are not ordinary. You have inner beauty that no one knows about. You should look around. Maybe someone is waiting for you. He then says, I think I need to leave. Meanwhile, the news is spreading about Thang and Jiang Jisi, and no one is taking any action. Now the news is saying that Thang and Zhu Xia's engagement was just for business purposes. Thang and Jiang Jisi are in love with each other. Thang's staff say that the rumors are spreading because Jiang Jisi is not cooperating. They are trying to act like nothing happened. Thang's manager says that Jiang Jisi is busy shooting a film and doesn't care about this issue. Thang asks his staff to handle the situation seriously. Meanwhile, some of Jiang Jisi's fans are criticizing Zhu Xia and saying, how can you compare yourself to Jiang Jisi? You are not worthy of Thang. You should break up with him. Mr. Mu comes and takes Zhu Xia away. He asks her, what happened to Thang? He hasn't taken any action yet. I can help you. Zhu Xia says, no, Thang is trying to fix things his way. She thinks to herself, he hasn't cheated on me because I'm not even in his heart. Thang then finds out how Zhu Xia is doing. He is relaxed to know that she is okay. Jiang Jisi calls Thang and he says, where are you hiding? I need a clarification regarding these rumors. She says, what clarification do you need? Our online business has increased since our news is out. So, just let it be. Thang asks her again for a clarification, but she switches off her phone. Meanwhile, Mr. Mu brings Zhu Xia lunch. She is still sad. He asks her, has Thang contacted you? She says, no. He tries to comfort her, but he stopped to see her engagement ring. Thang starts thinking about Jiang Jisi. He has never met her personally apart from business deals. The photos of them don't look intimate. However, the news is portraying their relationship as very romantic. He notices that some of Jiang Jisi's fans are extra active and thinks, I'm missing something. How can she knows about my small habits? This is the second time that rumors about us have spread. He realizes that Jiang Jisi's target is not Zhu Xia, but him. He orders his staff to find out more information about Jiang Jisi. Then, his staff member shows him a video of Jia Yang's fans criticizing her, making Thang angry and frustrated. His staff reassures him Zhu Xia's is safe, and Mr. Mu has taken care of the situation. We've also hired security for Zhu Xia's safety, Thang says. Find out who attacked Zhu Xia and take action. How dare them to harm my wife? Meanwhile, Jiang Jisi is in a photo shoot. When she starts vomiting, the photographer captures the moment. This was intentional. She wants people to believe she's pregnant, and that's exactly what happens in the news. Meanwhile, Mr. Mu investigates Zhu Xia's background, visiting her home to gather information. He learns from Zhu Xia's grandmother, she wasn't our biological daughter. We found her on the road, a sick and helpless 5-year-old. This news shocks Mr. Mu, bringing back memories of when Ruyu died in a car accident. He thinks to himself, Ruyu, maybe I've found you, sister. Meanwhile, Zhu Xia sees the news about Jiang Jisi's pregnancy news and believes it's true. She's upset and calls Thang, but he's turned off his phone to avoid reporters. Thang also sees the news and orders his staff, find out who published the article. I want to know who this journalist is. Meanwhile, Mr. Mu visits Ju Xia. She then shows him the news about Jiang Jisi's pregnancy. She misunderstood Mr. Mu as Thang Bi she was drunk. She admits, I was foolish to fall in love with you and should have remembered our relationship was just a contract. I don't understand why I couldn't stop myself from falling for you. Mr. Mu is happy to hear this. He says, I should have realized earlier that your relationship was fake. After all, your engagement happened after the rumors started. Ru Yun, did you send Ju Xia to me so that our love continues? At the same time, Thang asks the reporter about the photo that was taken in the parking area and about the photo of Jiang Jisi vomiting. The reporter is scared and tells Thang everything. He says, I was at the hotel that day and someone messaged me to come to the parking area. I saw you two that day and then I captured the vomiting photo, but I knew it was fake. She had paid me to print the article. He then says, Jiang Jisi had attacked Ju Xia. Thang is wondering why Jiang Jisi is doing this. What does she want from me? At this moment, he receives a message from the man who was asked to find information about Jiang Jisi. He sends a photo to Thang, which leaves Thang stunned. It is a photo of Jiang Jisi and her cowardly friend. Next, we see Mr. Mu with Ju Xia, and he asks her, has Thang contacted you? Ju Xia tells him, no, he must be spending time with Jiang Jisi. Then Mr. Mu receives a message saying, I am waiting for you downstairs. Then we see Mr. Mu taking Ju Xia's things for a DNA test. This is to confirm that Ju Xia is actually Ru Yun's sister. Jiang Jisi's manager tells her, the company always respects your decisions, but this time they want clarification on the pregnancy issue, as it's not good for your career. Jiang Jisi says, wait a few days because no one can force me to do anything. At this time, Thang calls her to meet. The next day, Thang meets her and she tells him, I did not do anything wrong to Ju Xia. Thang then plays the recording of the reporter for her, in which the reporter revealed Jiang Jisi's actions. Thang asks for an explanation, and Jiang Jisi accepts, I did everything, because I love you. Thang says, I love Ju Xia, and I will continue to love her. Jiang Jisi asks him, why? What am I lacking? If I came into your life before Ju Xia, then wouldn't you love me? Thang shows her a photo. Here we find out that Thang's school friend is Jiang Jisi. Jiang Jisi tells him, I thought what I felt for you was mutual, but I realized that you just see me as a friend. I couldn't change you, but I could change my gender. And therefore I went abroad and changed my gender to become a girl. Thang says, you should not have done that. We could have remained friends. Jiang Jisi says, I knew that you liked me, otherwise you wouldn't have been so nice to me. Thang tells her, I treated you as a friend, but you didn't want to accept it. Jiang Jisi says, Ju Xia can do anything for you that I can do, so why do you love her? If she disappeared, wouldn't you love me? Thang gets angry and says, I cherish our friendship, but I love Ju Xia. If you want our school memories to stay with us, you should stop all of this. Jiang Jisi realizes that Thang just sees her as a good friend and decides to give up on him. She makes an official statement and tells everyone, the news about me and Thang is all fake. I did all this just to get closer to him. Thang is relaxed after seeing her statement. He wants to go to Ju Xia's place, but his manager stops him as he's wearing casual clothes, and reporters will surround him. We then see Thang behaving like a desperate boy, waiting for Ju Xia outside the hotel. Ju Xia ignores him, but Thang takes off his mask and shows his face to her. He proposes to her. Ju Xia says, we should make another contract relationship for life, and then they kiss. Suddenly, the reporters reach there, so they both run back home. Thang pins her down on the bed and they get closer. Ju Xia closes her eyes, but Thang teases her. Then he proposes to her for marriage, and Ju Xia shows the diamond ring but says, during the engagement you said that I couldn't be your wife. Thang says, the contract is now over, and then he makes her wear the ring. Then, a kissing scene between them is shown. In the next scene, we see Thang and Mr. Mu. Thang shows a picture of two twin girls and says, these are the twin daughters of the Yunjin group. Ru Yun died in a car accident a few years ago, and the other one, Ru Jun, who is now known as Ju Xia, was adopted by the Mi family 20 years ago. And you already knew about this. Thang asks, what do you want to say? Mr. Mu says, why are you hiding everything from Ju Xia? Do you really love her or is there some hidden agenda? He then says, now your contract relationship is about to end, so I will wait for her. This is the end of the story. If you liked our recaps, then subscribe to the channel and also hit the like button.